All right, welcome in everybody to another live coaching session. This time we've got Mike here with us, and he wrote in and said he has some trouble finishing, specifically getting high up and around and then losing it at the end. So Mike, I'm going to pass it on to you to tell the people what you're experiencing, because you know you're not the only one.
You know what? I've been playing this. Is going to be going into my third season. So my first year was kind of a learning curve. Last year, I really progressed. I got to the advanced level, and confidence was really high. So most games, I started to feel I could almost beat anybody. And that was the case most of the times until, things would go a little bit south. And then I get down in a hurry. And usually it was about 3 or 4 rounds. I'd be down by quite a bit, sometimes 10, 12, 14 points. And then I would fight back. I would fight back to the point I got tied or even get ahead. And then that first big, once I got ahead or I got tied, I would front board it or off the back, and then after that, that was it. Game over. And I'm just having a hard time getting past that fact that, I can compete, I can get back into a game, but I just can't get over the finish line.
The closing.
The closing. Yes.
I got you. All right. So it's easiest if we can work with an actual example versus kind of hypothetical. So if you can consider a game that you maybe were in recently or one that just sticks out in your memory. And if you can go back to that moment when things kind of went awry, and tell me a little bit about what your thoughts and feelings were at that time.
Okay. Actually our Nationals was in late July here in Canada, in Ottawa. I was playing a gentleman by the name of Larry Bone, and he was up on me quite a bit, 19, 11, 19, 9, somewhere in there. And, I said, enough's enough. Like, that's it. I got to get back in this game. There's lots of game left. I got first bag and I fought my way back. And I believe I got it to 2019. And that very first bag, I either front boarded it or I went off the back. And before I threw it, I had so much confidence, but it almost felt like overconfident. The fact that the adrenaline was kicking in. And I never really thought about it until after I threw the bag. But it seemed like, all that emotion was ramped up, but I didn't catch it in time. And then once that bag was tossed, and it felt like game over. I just, it's almost like I quit instantly because he's a great shooter for one. And I knew I think he only needed the 1 point. And I figured no matter what happens, even if I, run the next 3, he just needs the 10. And I think that's what happened. Maybe it was 2019. I'm not sure the score, but it was somewhat to that situation. 1920, 2019. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So there's 2 things that we can work with there. The first one is when you fight all the way back and you're up and you just need a point or 2 to win. Most people, because we're human, are naturally going to jump into the future, right? Like, oh, I've almost got this, or oh, I can get this win, or even reflect on the past. Look what I've done. I was behind and now I'm not, right? So either way, whether you're reflecting on what you just accomplished or you're projecting onto what could possibly happen, even if it's positive, because I know a lot of people think, well, yeah, obviously if I start thinking, oh, I hope I don't miss this, or I hope I don't lose this game, is not going to go well. But even a positive projection is still a projection. It's still not here and now. And that doesn't exist, right? The past doesn't exist and the future doesn't exist. They're both not there. So what has to become really difficult for us humans is to stay grounded in the now. So it's not that I don't expect your brain to go, oh my goodness, I only need a point, right? That's a natural response. Just don't throw the bag from that thought. So you can notice that you thought that and go, oh, okay, but that hasn't happened yet. Someone who's really good at this is Mark Richards. If you notice, because when I was a sideline reporter and I would interview him after he won a semifinals, if you would note the way he would respond in those interviews, he always would say, it's not done yet. That was his way, consciously or not, of grounding himself in the present. We haven't gotten to the finals. He has not won this whole thing. He just went one step closer. So what that means is he's staying in the process of right now. Right now, what's happening is I'm one step closer, but I'm still a step behind, theoretically, right? So you are one step closer to winning. You've closed the gap, but you still have to get that extra point. That hasn't happened yet. So lots of ways we can ground in the present. First of all, don't get discouraged if you have that future thought, because that's human. You just take a moment, and potentially more than just a moment. Maybe you need even a timeout, just to be able to give yourself the time to go, whoa, 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 slow down, hold on. We haven't done that yet. First, we got to deal with this one bag, and I still have 4 bags to throw, right? So feel my feet on the floor, feel the bag in my hand, close your eyes, take a deep breath, get back into the process of what you're doing. Right now, I'm throwing a bag. That's what's happening right now. I'm not winning. I'm not losing. All I'm doing is throwing this one bag in my hand at this very moment. So that's what you want to practice there. Now, let's say you do all that and it goes short or long. Okay. So now we're in that second part of your situation. Now we have to deal with a reset, because you are human. It is, how do you not respond to, oh my goodness, I could have just lost the game? Because if you're throwing against someone well, there's a good chance that they're going to put 4 bags in the hole, right? And that's game. But once again, hasn't happened yet. We can't project. We can't predict the outcome because it has not happened. It's not helpful, good or bad. So we need a reset technique. So have you practiced any ways of which you can kind of reset back into the moment, especially emotionally?
Not really practice, no, because I'm quite the quick thrower. So once the round is over and we're ready to go, like once I pick up my bags, I'm just ready to go. So there's really nothing I think about. I don't take a deep breath. I really don't do anything. I just get up and I throw. And that's what seems to really work for me.
Yeah.
But in doubles, I have no problem if my partner goes south to call a timeout or try to get his attention and put my hands like, relax, whatever. But I never think about doing those things myself in the moment because I am so quick. And my mind goes really quick when I'm an individual.
Yeah, it sounds like you're really in the process, which is good. I just read something recently about, the top athletes. They're very process oriented. They're just doing the job. They're just doing the task at hand. They're not thinking about anything else but that task. And so that's when you're throwing your best. But once again, because you're not a robot, when something happens, like you throw a short bag and it's potentially the loss, you're going to be pulled out of the process. And so your job is now, how do I get back into the process of what I'm doing, back into the work? Just, I have to throw this bag. I have to release this bag. I'm not even going to say throw it in the hole, because you don't control that. All you can do is release the bag and hope, right? Hope and pray that it does what you want it to do. So your job is to release a bag. That's it. That's your whole job. And so when you throw that front board, you probably need something a little bit more than just what you're doing, which is potentially not much at all. So you might need a deeper breath. You might need to step away from the board to give yourself some time to process the emotion of that sucked. Because that's the reality. We can't lie. That sucked. That is not what you wanted at all.
That's pretty well the feelings in so many other words.
Yeah, exactly. So we can't suppress the feeling because there's not enough time to go through the whole process of all the emotions that could come from that moment. So we can't suppress it, but we also can't fully deal with it either, because we have, 10 to 15 seconds before we have to throw our next bag. So you need something that's really effective and quick. Like, what can I do? I mean, I guess if you do a timeout, you have up to 60 seconds. So you have to decide whether or not you could do it in 15 seconds, 10 seconds, or 60 seconds. Just know it's going to depend on the intensity of the emotion. So if it's just like a little like, oh man, but you're like, you know what? Still got it. Then you probably don't need more than, a deep breath, shake out your hands, jump up and down, something to kind of just shake up the body a little bit and come right back into your process. If you're really feeling like really affected, then you probably need something more. You probably need to step away for a second and give yourself time to kind of pseudo process what just happened and then get right back into it. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. So if you have done any of my reset work, I typically like to combine breath, movement, sound. That's kind of a full reset for the body. So, it could be as simple as like something like just throwing the hands. You can even throw the bag. The only time it's bad to like throw the bag is if the anger is getting the best of you, right? You've seen that where people get angry and you could tell it's taking over. But it's perfectly healthy to like throw the bag just to get that process, that emotion, like, oh man, right? And then like kind of like when Devin Harbaugh broke his headphones, but then he threw really well after that. That was like he like released it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
perfectly healthy. If you just throw your bags down, and then it could even give your opponent like a false sense of, oh, he's unraveling, right?
True.
And you're like,
Yeah.
actually, I'm not. I'm completely in control. I just wanted to kind of get that feeling out because it was surging through my body. Like I'm pissed.
Right.
And then you come back to the process. So whatever that is. So what you're probably unconsciously doing something when you start your games. Maybe it's not as obvious as like a deep breath, but if you can pinpoint something you're doing that kind of triggers to your body, like it's go time, that's what you'd want to insert right after that kind of process of that emotion.
Okay. Usually, yeah. Usually, I usually say it's enough is enough, or it is what it is, and that's kind
That's
of,
in the middle of the game. But what about when you
yeah.
start off?
I don't really think of anything. I just, like I
Yeah.
said, I just, really, there's nothing I really think about. Like, maybe on the way it's like, let's go, or I got
Yeah.
this, or maybe like, I don't know, but I generally don't really think that I really think a whole lot. It's just because I don't even look at my phone. I don't look at the brackets. I don't look at any of my stats. So I have a notification that I get on my watch. And a lot of times if I don't get that, it's usually somebody saying, hey, you're up next. So I'm like, oh, great. I grab my bags. Now I'm in a hurry to go play. And, I put my drink down. We do a quick 2 down and backs, and then I'm just ready to go. I really don't have time to think about anything a lot of times because I'm just so ignorant about, not really paying attention throughout the day, because I find when you look at things, you get overwhelmed. You think you shot a bad game or so many bags off. And to me, that gets all in your head. So I'd rather just deal with that when I get home.
Yeah, totally. And that's extremely smart. What you're doing is basically trying to keep yourself in the present, right? There's no
Right.
point of going back and looking at previous games going to put you in the past. There's no point of looking at the brackets going to put you in the future. So you're just I'm just right here, right now. But
Yeah.
I would just pay attention. I bet you there's at least something, some statement, something that's happening very unconscious that's helping you lock in. It could even just be the way you walk to the board, right? There's
Okay.
just something that's signaling like maybe you walk to the board differently than you would walk to your car. That's a trigger to your body of like, we're about to compete.
Right.
So just have some awareness of like, what are you doing? Like if you could like float above and kind of watch as you
Right.
walk to your match, because it's working. And even if you get down, you're not getting discouraged. If anything, it's just bringing you more present. Like, oh, I got to pay attention to what the heck I'm doing. And be with this bag right now. It's, and you said some of those phrases.
Right.
And you can use those phrases even in that moment where you throw for a front bag and you only have 3 bags left and they could potentially win. You could use those phrases. It's go time now, meaning I got to put these 3 bags in, right? And I have to start with the one in my hand right now. So, yeah, you do a really good job of being in the present in all these other situations. You just have, it sounds like, one trigger that pulls you out of that process, that moment, that presence.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, fair enough.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'd love to hear about it. So keep us posted. And for anybody listening, if you can relate, drop it in the comments. I'm sure Mike's not the only one that has experienced that discouragement when maybe you just lost the game or they're getting too big of a lead. So tell us your experiences in the comments, and if any of this helps you, or if you've tried some reset techniques, we'd love to hear from you. And Mike, appreciate your time today.
Yeah, you as well. Thank you. And I'm really going to try to think about before starting the match, though, because now you got me thinking, because you're right. There's got to be something. Like, I got to be firing myself up somehow, some way, because
It's just subtle.
Yeah. Because most of
You're
them
not flashy.
yeah. Because like I'm an old school guy, so like I like old rock and hard rock, and most of the events they're playing like pop music and stuff because it's more the younger crowd music. And I can't stand it. So usually I'm complaining about the music in my mind before I go play. So maybe I'm angry before I start. I don't know.
Yeah, but still,
play, right?
music, if you're listening to the music, you're still present, right?
Yeah,
You're right there with that song.
I'm not listening. I'm not listening to it. Trust me. Anything but.
Well, I mean, if you're complaining on the way, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
God, I hate this song. That means you're still right here, right now with this song that you hate.
Right. Right.
So it is, I guess, a presence tactic in a weird way.
Gotcha.
All right, cool. I can't wait to hear more about it.
Okay, Nish, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.